Julie and Crystal, Drees is determined to delight your buyers, and but the only way you can do it at scale is with process, right? And so you all have built process around this personalization and options presentation and selling batch of stuff that you do, right? So talk to us a little bit about the process. It actually has a name, right?
So it does. We actually call this process Custom Plus Construct, and this is just a company-wide process that we've adopted. Basically, we've found that our niche is enabling the customer to customize the floor plan. So they just have to start with one of our floor plans. Our company architecture department can take it and add any customizations that you really feel that you want and need in the home. And because they're starting with one of our basic plans, we really have a great idea of pricing and cost from that. But then after you're done touching your plan and customizing it, when you come to the design center, we want to go straight production. And we feel like that is helpful because we can control what we can get, we can control our pricing, and it just kind of leaves the internet aspect of shopping and the unknowns and the warranties and all of the things just kind of off of the table. It also allows for us to be able to only offer things that we know we can get within an available timeline, that aren't going to be on a ship sitting, in a harbor for months on end, and then just delaying the process. Because really, at the end of the day, we want to get these houses sold and get them finished and built in the shortest amount of time possible.
So when you say straight production, you mean what you can execute on within the time frame that delivery of the home is expected, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean from that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so you're exploring these customizations, but it ends up being whittled down to maybe some fewer choices on that. And the buyers are cool with that as you work through that?
They are.
I think the biggest thing is they would want to know why. And it's not just a no. Like Drees has gone through the homework to figure out why we don't want to do it. And I find most of the time if we walk through that together, then they understand it's not that we just want to say no. Yeah. There's reasons behind the saying no. Yeah. And then, of course, you still have that one buyer that will push the limits, and we will always ask.
Well, let's dive in a little more deeply on how you help the buyers research and select the options, right? Like, that's a whole art in and of itself, isn't it?
It truly is. I'm just going to introduce us to this, and then I'm going to let Julie kind of take the show here. But a lot of the prep work up front that we put into that very initial introduction with the customer and the consultant is so important to just like take that extra step and give it that extra time in order to be prepared for that. So I'm going to kind of let Julie jump into some of the processes that we go through to get us to the point of getting them ready for their design center appointments.
Okay.
So kind of at the same time we were launching our Envision platform and COVID was happening and we were crazy busy, we had to start implementing virtual appointments. And after all of that we came out of the dust, right? We found that it was better to keep those virtual appointments because we spend an hour and a half. Oftentimes, we're getting selections done, not what we want to get fully through, but the buyer feels just better being able to have that point of contact, opening that line of communication, showing them Envision if they don't understand it and how it's beneficial. And I feel like they get really excited after just that one phone call. And then we have another one after that where we really start building out what is their lifestyle. And they'll tell you a lot when you're talking about a kitchen cabinet, right? And like what they need functionality wise. And so that, it's kind of like a first date. We're figuring it out. And each time we're getting back together, we know more and more about them, probably their dog and, what camp their kid is at. But that's part of it. It's a very personal process. Yeah. And trying to keep that in mind always for them.
So you've got an onboarding and orientation to this tool set, right? The Envision tool where they can do independent study, or so to speak. And then you're going to dive deeper next time you get together, whether that's in person or virtually, to look into specific selections. And you've incorporated discovery that the salespeople have done in the selling process as well, so that you're not going over turf that's already been covered by the buyer in terms of sharing stuff.
And we can actually set up Envision in a way that it has all of their options and features that they added at contract with the market manager.
Yeah.
So by the time they log into Envision, they can see these added media rooms and the second powder bathroom and all of that stuff already in that Envision platform, which, you know, kind of goes the extra mile to show them that this is their house that's building out in this electronic platform. It's not just a cookie cutter experience.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Cool. So I got the global process. Are there any little special tweaks or practices within the global practice that you've discovered over time where it's like, hey, when I do this, I really get a good dollop of input from the buyer, or I'm really able to help them discover what they actually need and want?
I mean, I feel like in general, anytime you can like mention just little things that have been coming up throughout the process, like they know we're listening, like we're hearing what they want.
Yeah.
Often bringing them back to like, hey, you mentioned this. I think this would be a great feature for your home because of that.
Yeah.
And just building on that relationship side.
Yeah. So it's about documenting what they've already shared with you and playing it back to them, because it's a lot of stuff to work
Even
through,
small
right?
things like repeating their children's names. So appointment 1 is like, how many kids do you have? But then after that, and they've told you their names, from then on, it's Jack and Jane. We're talking about, we're no longer saying your kids. So we actually even, you know, make notes of that and try to keep it super personal and build that relationship as the time goes on.
And we got to write them down, right, to remember them, right? Because there's so many details you all are. I mean, how many clients are you working with at any given time? Is it like 10, 15, or 5, 6? What?
5 to 7 is a pretty good average where like you're feeling good, you're busy, but I can remember Jack and Jane and that she wants purple in her bathroom.
Yeah. What about budget, helping buyers deal with budget?
I do feel like design centers sometimes get a little bit of a bad rap because people think that it's very pushy and just like a big sales pitch here. But here in particular, we do not do that. You can build a completely standard home, and we just want you to be happy. And that's really the bottom line message that everybody speaks here. But we do encourage them, if they think they want it, let's price it, because what we don't want them to do is come back and then wish that they would have priced it. And now they're going to start rethinking things. And we just feel like if they can price the sun and the moon and the stars up front, then figure out where that falls into their budget and if they can afford it right now or not. And it really kind of helps just with that whole process. Just encouraging and letting the customers know, like, if you really want these wood floors, I would do those now and then maybe pay for this special paint finish in your bedroom later, because that's something that can be done pretty easily after closing, but wood floors would not. So we also kind of help them justify making a certain decision now versus later to kind of help that budget and where it fits in as well.
Yep. You talked about custom plus construct, and I'm just curious about your teammates in purchasing and production and how all of this selecting and customization and personalization plays through to the downstream functions. Is the technology playing an important role in getting all of those details right and to the folks that need to do the buying and the building?
Yes.
How so?
It's all integrated. It really all starts with operations. Because if we want to add something to this program, we have to price it, we have to vet it. We have, you know, a whole checklist of questions that operations goes through before it even gets added to Envision. And then once it gets added, then we know how to spec it and order it and all of that kind of stuff. And then all of our trades and stuff can go to this from the back end and see what they need to see without pricing and without, you know, our personal information, but they can kind of see all of the details and what's needing to be ordered and installed and all of that.
Cool. Now let's talk a little bit about ownership experience. And I don't know how much this pertains to you all in your area of responsibilities. I would contend that since you're dealing with a lot of the finishing touches, that you're in a position to really kind of be there and help them in the later stages. And a lot of companies, this ends up being warranty managers and more of a operations function and not as much of a customer facing strategic function. But we have opportunities as home builders to provide a superior ownership experience because we have a lot of information about what's in that house and what that house is from a design. So I don't know where you all are on things like ownership apps or other ways to support the ownership experience and not run for the hills fleeing the warranty exposure.
We are actually the very last company to flee that warranty exposure. We have the most amazing warranty department. They have the hardest job on the planet.
Yeah.
But we do have an entire customer care team that's devoted to that handoff. However, we do have a buyer profile portal. So from day one that they sign their contract all the way through, anybody that's touched that home has access to that portal. They can upload photos. They can upload whatever information. We can text and chat in it. It keeps a history log of conversation. But most importantly, it has links to all of the warranty info and all of the things that they learn at their final walkthrough, at their new home presentation with their customer care rep, which they walk them through and show them how to work their thermostat and show them how to turn their sprinklers on, and then remind them that they need to flush and drain their tankless water heaters twice a year. So, all of these things that some homeowners just have no idea goes into it. We take the time to walk them through that, give them supplemental information, and then an online tool to go back and reference it if they've forgotten or need some extra help.
Very cool. Well, I love what you all have done here. And it sounds like it's not a one and done situation. There's constant evolution and constant process improvement. So congratulations on all of that.
Thank you so much.
Okay.